Edinburgh hosts a great number of diverse restaurants. But just how diverse can they get? I'm here on a mission to try out as many world foods as possible. And to find out what the public think about them. It'll be a round-the-world trip, all in the same city. Join me on my journey across Edinburgh's eateries. The city of Edinburgh is rife with culture. It has a long history as an international centre of commerce and the arts, so it's drawn people from around the world. And nowhere is this more apparent than in its restaurants. In this documentary, I'll explore just how diverse Edinburgh's dining experience can be, and hopefully meet the creators too. To begin my journey, I've come to Chitsuru Thai, a restaurant that boasts some of the finest foods Japan can offer, and it's right here on our doorstep. When I entered the Chitsuru Thai, which translates to 1,000 birds in a pavilion, I was bombarded by the stunning decor, such as the bamboo wallpaper, the oriental lamps, and the charming waving cat, said to be a good luck charm from the east. I was already impressed and was keen to get started. The manager, Catherine, informed me that my first course was a set of chicken dumplings and miso soup.
Yes. And this is the soup, the miso soup, one kind of the Japanese soup. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay, you can try that.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. The miso soup. Oh, it's fantastic. It's really rich. You can tell this stock has been worked on for some time. And it's amazing the way it swirls. It's quite thought-provoking. Whoa, what am I finding here? I think there's little bits of tofu there. I think we'll try a wee dumpling now. So these are chicken, I believe. Let's see if my chopstick skills will still stand up to this. The dumplings were an instant hit, being the right level of soft on the inside and crispy on the outside. My next course came in the form of a sushi platter, part of which is presented in a roll alongside a selection of raw seafood such as shrimp, eel and mackerel.
This is a horseradish and some ginger. Make the horseradish inside the soya sauce and dip some of the sushi.
Okay.
Enjoy. Thank you.
Right, well, let's get stuck in. Okay, ready. Jaws open. That is so fresh. It's just melting in my mouth. There's no smell though. That's the thing about very fresh fish. You really don't smell it. You just taste it. Fantastic. So one of the most incredible things about the food here is the way it's presented on a leaf and the decoration of each item, the organisation on the plate. It's very zen, living up to obviously the Japanese tradition. Absolutely beautiful dining experience. The sushi had been a triumph of presentation and taste. I was off to a good start. The gauntlet had been truly thrown down for the rest of my destinations, but I had a feeling they were up to the task.
I thought I'd continue this trip at a quaint little Brazilian cafe that hosts events and the occasional buffet. It's aptly named Café Brazil.
Café Brazil is a family-run restaurant that serves, you guessed it, fine Brazilian cuisine. It's managed by the family's matriarch, Rita de Cassia, who is assisted by waiter Dantlo de Paula, who told me I was to expect their highly favoured feijoada.
We're doing like Brazilian buffets on Sundays, so it's like you can eat as much as you want, so it's very, very good. So we pick from the menu some dishes and we put it in there, and people just help themselves. You're going to try our typical feijoada. It's our best seller from the menu. It's made of black beans and smoked pork, and it's slow cooked, and it's really, really nice. It comes together with white rice, and it's just amazing.
This is a feijoada.
Feijoada. Fantastic. Thank you. I can smell the smoked pork there coming up from this pot. And I don't know if you can see it, it's a deep colour. With on the top there's fresh herbs and spring onions sprinkled on top there. How amazing. I'd just been kindly informed that the correct way to eat this dish in order to get the full experience was to put the stew onto the rice and the cassava flour onto the stew. It has now been explained to me how we eat this correctly. I've got the rice, I've got the beans on the rice, and I've got the cassava flour on top of the beans and pork, so I can taste all three flavours together. So here goes. That works. The textures go together really nicely. The cassava flour is actually slightly crunchy. And finally, the orange. I'm going to be daring here and just squeeze a bit into the stew and over things. And a wee bit of the cassava flour on the top as well. Let's see if that orangey flavour comes through. That's fantastic. What a dish. This is just the kind of thing to line your stomach before a hard night's carnivaling, if you're going to be dancing in the street for 5 hours on end. So I've got here a piece of cassava which I'm going to dip in there. It's so crispy on the outside and it's soft on the inside, and I don't know if you're supposed to do this, but I'm improvising. Lovely combination. The feijoada had gone down well, and the owners seemed to like me, so much in fact that they whipped up a traditional Brazilian cocktail for me to try. It is known as the caipirinha. Fantastic. It's quite strong, but I can imagine this keeping you fresh for many hours through the night. I'm going to have to restrict myself to just one this afternoon. Café Brazil had left a strong impression, but I thought it was about time to get a different perspective on the restaurants of Edinburgh.
I'm a few restaurants into my journey, and so far I'm suitably impressed, but I'm beginning to wonder what the public think of Edinburgh's food. Can you tell me what kind of restaurants you would typically go to? What kind of world food you might eat?
I kind of stick to the same palate. Fish and chips usually, you know.
Spanish, Italian, I guess, yeah, European.
Indian ones, Turkish, Korean. I went to a really good French one the other day as well.
Mostly Scottish fare. The food in Scotland's so good that we do tend to focus on Scottish, but Italian.
It is Japanese.
And do you like to branch out and try different nationalities of food, or do you know what you like and stick to it?
I think I try and branch out. I think it's one of those things, like if you know someone that goes there and knows what to order.
The Italian food.
And what kind of Italian food is it that you particularly like?
Like pastas and pizzas.
I just like them if it's done well. Simple food done well is nicer than something that's too fancy and experimental, I think.
The public had provided some interesting views on the subject of world foods. I'd have liked to have found out more, but it was time to continue my journey. The Magna Hungaria, run by manager Peter Szalóki Lombos, boasts some of the finest Hungarian cuisine in Scotland. In fact, it's Edinburgh's only Hungarian restaurant, and what better time to pay it a visit than after it has just reopened.
The adventure continues at Magna Hungaria, a Hungarian restaurant that's just moved from London Road to Haymarket and is decorated in traditional Hungarian style.
Very first and very important step in the Hungarian kitchen, that's the gulyás and that's the stew which we call pörkölt. And there's a well-known dish all over the world, the goulash, the Hungarian goulash. I think that's one of the best dish.
My dish was the pörkölt, which was similar to the better-known goulash stew. The purkult is a helping of boneless meat and vegetables with a side of cucumbers in sour cream. To get the full experience, I was required to take my second drink of the day, a shot of peach schnapps. I'm going to begin with the traditional Hungarian appetizer called pálinka. I believe this is a peach one, so here we go. That's tasty, and it's pretty strong, so let's try this. Melts in the mouth. Wow. So the cooking has obviously been slow, long, patient. I can definitely taste the paprika that is so popular in the Hungarian food. I can really imagine coming in from a hillside there, having carried a sheep on my shoulders for 2 hours, and this is what you need to bring you back to life. The Hungarian purkult had certainly made its mark as a distinct and memorable taste amid the selection of restaurants I'd visited so far. And with my final appointment, I hope to go out on a high note. My journey had spanned a whole day, and by the time I'd gotten to my last destination, it had gotten quite dark. But thankfully, its colourful neon glow only added to the experience.
My last stop is Roti, offering Indian and Pakistani cuisine. It's a family-run business, and it sets itself apart by offering a tapas-style menu.
Opening in January of 2017, the Roti is fairly new to the restaurant scene, but the owners certainly aren't novices when it comes to their food.
Every time you go to the restaurant, a la carte restaurant, or come to the tapas restaurant, is smaller dishes, introducing all different varieties of dishes. That's it. And you can come in the restaurant, try this bit, try a bit. When you're 4 people, 5 people are in there, you can have a selection of dishes, and everybody can have a bit of everything. And it's a good idea to sharing everything as well. There's a couple of dishes I've got. It's a garlic chili king prawn. It's a starter. It's very, very nice. And I've got a dish with the sauce and the chicken. It's Punjabi garlic chicken. They are the very, very good dishes, like most favorite dishes in the menu.
My dishes, Punjabi garlic chicken, chili king prawn, and garlic naan bread, would be the best on the menu, and I was about to put it to the test.
Very much. Thank you. These were Amit's recommendations, the garlic prawns that he mentioned before. I can't wait any longer, so I'm going to dive straight into that. And we've got a minty sauce here as well. Wow. Okay, that's powerful. The prawn's so juicy, and it's got a kick to it as well. But the fresh coriander on the top, you can't top that. You can't beat the fresh ingredients sprinkled on there. That's superb. Well, let's have a look at this Punjabi garlic chicken here. Wow. Really rich sauce. Definitely something that you could have in combination with a few other dishes, which is why this tapas idea works so well. Let's try a bit of the garlic naan now as well. And the Punjabi chicken sauce. Crispy on the bottom, fluffy inside. Couldn't be better.
The Roti had promised much from the quality of its food, and it had delivered in spades.
It's been a fascinating journey, as well as the obvious, the fabulous range of ingredients. I was struck by the diversity of the methods of preparation and of presentation. My taste buds have been on a voyage, and my mind has travelled too as I've learned about the origins and the effects of each dish. It seems that by experiencing a wider range of the fine foods available here, I'm somehow closer to the city itself.
So it occurs to me all these different elements to